get this iPod to stand up straight. What is up, everybody? In today's Hookah Talks video, I'm going to be introducing you, finally, the smoke review for the glass downstem Crown Royal homemade hookah that I have made. Also, the base it sits onto, preventing it not moving around, shifting when you have a, say, kind of a washable hose, a D-hose, something that's a silicone hose, or even vinyl hose. They have a lot of tension, a lot of force when you move it around, and for a smaller homemade hookah, you want something with a little bit more airflow, or just no kind of ghosting effects. You want something like vinyl or silicone. This is the way that you're going to have to kind of enable the hookah not to move around when you want to pass the hose around. Also, I have some coals that I want to review, so it's going to be a little bit of a longer, pretty much hookah talks video, but I'm going to show you the base right now on which the hookah sits into. I'm going to flip my coals really quick. Don't like these coals. I'll get into that why. One sec. Man, this gives off fumes. So, without further ado, the base. It's a piece of wood, as you can see. The inside, I took some wooden chisels and a hammer, mapped out the bottom of the Crown Royal base, so if you have, say, I don't know, some other type of alcoholic beverage, just put it on a piece of paper, trace it out, and get some type of wood, if you want to do what I did. Map it out, and I used chisels to cut it out, essentially. These were just some tests that I did here and here, and as you can see, there's hot glue in here. Now the hot glue enables this to be straight. I used a level in order to kind of make sure it would stand up straight for the most part. I couldn't get the surface of the wood that I carved out to be perfectly straight, so I used the hot glue in patches, and I put my Crown Royal base in here, put the hot glue in there, pushed it down, and I let it set until it dried, and then I just kind of broke it out of position. And I did this multiple times in order for this thing to sit securely within the base. Those coals are looking good, so I'm going to put the Crown Royal in the base, put the coals on there, and proceed to smoke. Oh wait, one sec. This is how it goes. That's how it does. One little snug kind of fit like that, it should stay. And I'll get into why I used the hot glue as to just keeping it with the wood. These coals are pretty bad. Have to use 4 in order to get any real good smoke. With the wind cover on as well. Turn off my hot plate. Have the coals ready as well. Alright. I'll get this later. I'll show you the hookah on the stand. Here it is. As you can see, not going all over the place. Ta-da! Kind of cool. Kind of weird, but I like it. And I'll demonstrate the stability of the base. The whole hookah is not moving. when I move my silicone hose. That was the most important part of the base. One sec. Sorry, just weird camera angles. So the wooden base, it acts as a platform for the hookah to sit onto. So whenever you move your hose, like I was telling you at the beginning of the video, the whole hookah itself doesn't slide. So I just used a piece of wood, chiseled it out, put hot glue in there like I told you, and now I have a fully functioning glass downstem hookah that sits on a piece of wood. It sits in about, say, half an inch. And I'll get into the reason why I used hot glue right now. I'll get the hookah going, show you guys the cloud output, and everything like that. You can use pretty much whatever material you want for the for the base, for the hookah to sit onto. It's mainly up to you guys, but I wanted to just use some wood. I had a whole bunch of spare wood in the back. Found that piece and just used that. It's pretty simple to do. Took about an hour to an hour and 30 minutes of just chiseling. I had two chisels, a 1-inch chisel and I think a 1.5-inch chisel, but I ended up using the 1-inch chisel because it was just a little bit easier to work with. Anyways, the one reason for me to use the hot glue was to keep this hookah standing up straight. But I also found out that the bottom of the base has little marks, little textured marks on the bottom of the glass that acts as a type of grip, in a sense, for your fifth of Crown Royal to pretty much grip onto whatever surface, but doesn't really do too well when you have some type of outside force moving it. But it imprinted in the hot glue, so almost have some type of grommet, in a sense, holding the little slits and everything that's within the hot glue to the bottom of the Crown Royal hookah. So it adds a lot of force, well, a lot of grip, I should say. It adds a lot of grip for this hookah to stay in the base, so you can actually move this hose around. I'm not cautious with it anymore. Doing this would easily knock the hookah over. I'm going to smoke this thing, alright? I'm going to get into the coals right now. Ugh. These coals suck. That's the first pull. I'm using some Alfaker coconut coals. I just wanted to try these out. I do have some instant lights by Alfaker. I don't like instant lights. No one should like instant lights. They taste bad. They have a lot of fumes and just extra added stuff to it. A lot of chemicals that you shouldn't be using. But if you're kind of strapped for cash and you want to smoke, I guess instant lights are the way to go. But honestly, don't use them. Just use all natural coconut coals. Second pull. Now, I'm going to open these up and show you guys how big they are. It's pretty pathetic size. I'm not going to lie. They're little cubes. They're 1.5 inch cube. And they look pretty standard to any kind of coconut coal out on the market. But when you put these on your hot plate, they frickin' start giving off a very nasty scent, and they actually start to smoke a little bit, unlike a traditional coconut coal. This has some type of like kind of skin to it, kind of like an instant light almost, in a sense. It smells just like an instant light, I think they put a little bit of the same kind of chemicals on this coconut coal in order for it to actually start to light up pretty fast, I guess, because these don't take that long to light up on a hot plate. Third pull, I believe. Getting the smoke up there. But these give off a little bit of taste within the hookah as well. Almost an instant line kind of taste. These aren't 100% coconut coal. In fact, the way that you can tell something is 100% coconut charcoal is from the ash. Brown ash means that it is 100% coconut shell. Kind of a tannish, can possibly be 100%, but if it burns over white, there's some filler in there, some wooden filler. So they use trees even though they claim it's 100% coconut shell. But if you use some type of wood filler, it does burn hotter. So if you have a more tan brown color, it doesn't burn as hot. But these actually, in fact, ash over gray with a tiny bit of white. So what that tells me is there's probably some chemicals in there, some type of filler that keeps this charcoal together maybe. Probably not the best thing to be smoking off of, but I was pinched for cash. $6.99 was what I paid for this, so 60 pieces, but I mean these are really small. Honestly, I use 4 of these when you should only be using 3 like coconara sized coconut coals, but these are so small that I have to use 4. And they don't produce that much heat. I feel bad for this hookah because I'm buying the unusual stuff. Okay, I've never bought these before. If I put 5 on there, it'd be too much, but 4 is a little bit less than, say, 3 coconaras. And I even have my wind cover on here, and it's not even producing really big clouds. I am smoking some Fantasia candy cane, I believe, in spirit of December and Christmas. But as an overall factor, these coconut coals are by far one of the worst coconut coals I've smoked. Because of the smell they give off, the taste they give off, the coal size is pretty pitiful. It's not a good product, I don't find. But it's good for what it is. I'm going to move these coals a little bit closer just to try to show you guys the cloud output this thing can give. If anyone has watched me smoke with the metal downstem, it can produce pretty decent clouds. But it produces a little bit pretty decent clouds for what it is right now, but these coals are just so shitty. Let me show you the ash on these. I smoked it earlier today, but I had a lot of people over, so I didn't want to do a video. They're fucking gray. Gray and white ash. And they ash over very quickly. It's funny because they claim that these things don't ash over not as much. As a normal coal would. But in fact they ash over a lot more. Let's see here. Leaves less than 4% ash. That's bullshit. There we go. So, after putting them pretty much to the center of the bowl, I'm starting to get the cloud output that I want. Don't do that with normal coals because you won't have to. But the flavor that I'm getting out of this particular hookah with the glass downstem is pretty phenomenal. Besides the coal taste that I am getting, not necessarily a coal taste, but more of the kind of layer they have on the outside of the coal that kind of starts the heating process a little bit faster than, say, just a 100% coconut shell. Coconut coal, I would say. But the glass, I find, it ups the flavor. There's no metal taste. With like a traditional hookah, there might be a tiny bit of metal taste, but for the most part, I'm not bagging on any kind of KM, Caravan, Regal, anything of that matter. I find that there's barely any metal taste, if no metal taste to any traditional hookah. But if you have a glass hookah or some type of homemade glass hookah like I have made here, there's no taste whatsoever. I'm literally just getting straight shisha, and it's pretty nice. But pretty decent clouds for what it is. Again, these coals are really shitty. But you know, this thing doesn't really produce harsh hits, even though the coals are really close. Aesthetically pleasing, now that I have the wooden base on there, I do like it a lot. But pretty good clouds. Kind of weird lighting. As I blow the smoke out, it kind of gets a little bit darker or whatnot, but pretty good for what it is. Not bad. If you want to learn how to make the D-hose glass bottle attachment, I have videos for that. Videos of me drilling glass. I am going to post a video on how I actually made the D-hose connect into the Crown Royal, 1/2 inch hole size. I used a aluminum tube for that. I'm going to have a video on that. If you want to learn about the hookah itself, about the Crown Royal hookah itself, I have a video for that. In the purge valve, it's pretty simple. I have a video for that as well. But yeah. That's pretty much it, you guys. Sorry for how long this video is. It's almost 20 minutes long, but I had a lot to talk about. Excuse me. But this is the end of this kind of homemade hookah series, I believe. The glass-on-glass connection for the downstem to the bowl, it's really nice, actually. I kind of like it now. But that is it. I'll take a couple more pulls for you guys. Hopefully you are enjoying your November/December holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas and whatnot. But not bad. Anyways, guys, keep on smoking hookah. Have a wonderful day. See you later.